All right, good morning. Welcome. Ugh, how is everybody today? I am Darkpool Algo. Thanks for joining me on another morning watch list building session. Yo, let's go. Let's get that. All right, a couple of things. One, we have to start really looking at the downside of this market. Two, I don't know how much longer my mic stand's going to work. So if it comes crashing down, I apologize for the noise in advance. Three, predicted trades was supposed to be on the show this morning, and to do a little bit of an intro, we're going to try to start getting them on at least once a week to educate my subscribers. Also, to provide some more specific plays, right? You know what? Hold on. It's driving me nuts. Showing off tattoos today, I guess. All right. They were supposed to be on to kind of go over their system a little bit more in depth, which is definitely, I think, a way better way for them to explain how it works than for somebody who's just really new to it, like I am. So also check it, yo. Beta version FlowTrade got some things taken care of. Watch this. Ready? Boom. Come on. We have a green line, right? We've also got, let's see, let's get rid of that. We've got, get back here. We got another green line. We got, so basically what it is I can change my colors. So RXL, right? RXL. So if I wanted to draw a straight line across, I would go Alt X and be like, right, there is resistance, right? And then if I had, I wanted to get trend line. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me make it a little bigger. Looky. Oh, looky. We got some different colors. I really like that yellow color, so I might switch to things like that. There's no way for me to quickly switch back and forth between like red and blue or white. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll work on getting this set up later today. But I will use, I'll start using I'll figure out the color system, because I know that I'm a very visual learner, and I'm sure that most of y'all are as well. So I got that taken care of. What else is there? This market, dude, it's kicking my butt, to be honest with you. Really is, and I'm getting quite frustrated about it, to be honest. But that's okay. So, and here's the deal. This is what I was, and I didn't do this, and I was going through my notes, because I write everything down. I was going through my notes the other day, and the homeboy Laz hooked me up with these, right? We got this guy, right? Which is really cool. I'm just showing it to you now as well. We got this one. We got this one. Little notebooks, right? This one's pretty cool. The old options trading logbook. Pretty cool. So, like I was saying, I write everything down. And I was going back through my notes to figure out what's going on. And I realized that I broke one of my number one rules is anytime you adapt or you add a new trading strategy or you try to modify your trading strategy or anything like that, you need to go and paper trade it for a week. And just straight up, there's no ifs, ands, buts, whatever. There's been no small account challenge notifications, any of that. I've been kind of absent in Discord, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I realized that I need to go paper trade for like a week or two. So if y'all want to paper trade with me, great, we're going to do it. If not, then I'll just keep calling out the plays, and y'all can figure out, your entries and exits like that. It's super important to be able to do that because there's absolutely no reason for you to learn something while you're paying for it with your own money, right? Why not use paper trading to get used to it, especially if you're adding stuff to your charts or anytime you broke your routine. Trading is very routine based. The more mechanical, the more robotish you can become in this game, the better off you're going to be. One, that's emotions, that's just flow, routine, setups. It's all very mechanical because we are trading against robots, we're trading against machines, and they're winning. So with that being said, I'm going to be paper trading for the next couple of days, possibly a week, possibly two. Okay. We have a bunch of news to get through today, and I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. We're also going to be looking at some downside plays. I'm going to do a better job of showing you upside and the downside and giving you targets. Right. Here we go. All right. So one of my struggles is to try to figure out what news really benefits y'all, because I could spend an hour and a half just reading through the news. Okay. I'm thinking about just grabbing news that are from tickers that we've played before or that we've talked about or that have ongoing news. The way that my news is broken up is I put it all in the morning briefing over in the Discord channel. So it's y'all are getting the exact same information. I think what I'm going to do, since I put it there as well, is I'm just going to grab ones that are familiar names to me and or it's just something that stands out, and we'll go through those, and then that way we can save up a little bit on time. And yeah, I think that makes sense. Like I'm not going to get into like these 15 different drug manufacturers that are coming out with FDA approval. If that's how you play your stuff, it's over in the morning briefing. Feel free to go check it out. Okay. There's really no tech news, which is interesting. Sony did come out and say that at the CES Technology Conference, it would create a car unit and explore entering the electric vehicle market. In another sign of how electronics and car businesses are overlapping, Sony showed off a prototype, but 7-seat electric sport utility vehicle with all-wheel drive. Sony trying to enter the game, but do they have what it takes? I don't know, man. I think wasn't there some news about Sony last week or 2 weeks ago? They like the market liked that news. I'm just gonna say, right? The market really adapted well to that news. I guess the market likes Sony more than we do. Nice little $9 rip. So on this, we've gone through it before. You grab the pop, you grab the fib to the retracement, right? From the pop, you wait for the retrace, and then you play the bounce off of that. Sony should be pretty fun to play today. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Let's see. So news with Sony. Okay. That's about it for tech. SGH and ACM both had earnings yesterday. OIIM. We're starting to get back into earnings season. As we get into earnings season, I will definitely cover more plays. Okay. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Laz. Morning, Terry. Morning, Ed. And yes, get the tickers into me now, so that you're learning toss, Laz, bro. Seriously, let's set something up for today or tomorrow. We can do a Zoom meeting. I can walk you through. I mean, you're on the struggle bus. I don't want you to be on the struggle bus. Let's set up a Zoom meeting so I can get you through most of what you need to do. Okay. In healthcare news, I'm sitting here scanning the news looking for something from Moderna, because Moderna's got me trapped right now. It really does. In here, just right at this daily, man, it's being a choppy beezy. I'm looking for a quick pop on Moderna today. Try to get back up to the 618. If Moderna can get above, if it can get out of its own way, really, and get back up above these Keltner channel clouds, I think Moderna can really rip today. There is no news coming out with it, so it's not like we're going to get a news pop, but I think there needs to be some rotation, and I'm having a hard time figuring out where that rotation is. I think it's into the Russell, like I said, possibly into the Dow. Okay, and let's see. Here's a good downside play: ANNX, Anox and Biosciences. They're down 24% after reporting interim phase 2 data of its drug. Said that its results relative to baseline after 6 months of treatment, which means it doesn't really do its job. Nice little slide from 10 to 850. And dead cat bounce, right? It is in difecta, so we could look for a downside play on that. And then Henry Schein announced that its EVP and CFO plans to retire after 35 years of service. Let's see if he was well respected. It looks like Henry Schein has just been moving on up the last couple days, right? So the sector, the market's been down and this stock has been up $2. Possible pullback to 79. See what happens with that. In financials, Lincoln National LNC is downgraded to in line from outperform at Evercore. They got downgraded, but they're still ripping. Maybe did we move into XLF? Nobody told me. Yep, we did. All right. All right. So XLF it is. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at downside plan XLF, right? So that would be companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. See how they're all up. We're going to get rotation out of that because they're all up at resistance right now. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's keep an eye on the XLF rotation or continuation. All right. Sweet. In energy, lots of stuff coming in energy. Okay. So we're in consumer. And let's start with this. The American Petroleum Institute showed a weekly decline in crude inventories to negative 6.4 million barrels, an increase in gasoline inventories, and while distillate inventories rose 4.4. Remember, we were supposed to start tracking that. We really should track that this year. I'm gonna write that down. We need to track those numbers, and I'm not good with data like that, but we do need to track API numbers because with the EV market, traditional energy is going to suffer, and we really need to keep an eye because if we start getting a lot of this movement, right, in gasoline and oil, right, what's going to happen is it's going to affect inflation, right? Those two are really close together, and I think that that'll be a good. We got to get a pulse on what's going to happen. So let's keep an eye on that. And moving on, Allegiant Air, check it, yo. Allegiant Air is close to ordering 50 Boeing 737 MAX jets worth $5 billion at list prices. People familiar with the matter said, as the low-cost U.S. airline eyes a rebound in tourism. Okay, so Allegiant Air is a cheap airline. Like, I will fly from here to Utah on Allegiant Air for $50 round trip. Seriously, I don't know how they're paying for gas because it's got to be more expensive than that. But they're close. They're coming in to order some Boeing 737 Maxes, which will help Boeing, obviously. Boeing, which I hate, is at the daily top, through the 4-hour top, on its way up to. Jesus, is it trifecta? It's on its way up to the weekly top. 232 is my upside target on Boeing if and only if 214 holds. Okay, what does that look like? This is what it looks like. So, right, it's working its way up through the Keltner channels, right? It is working its way up, right? Rally, rejected the 4-hour or the daily top, chilled in the 4-hour cloud, fighting its way up through the week or the daily cloud, right? Over the weekly mid. It's peeking its head out of the daily top, okay? If we get this little reverse slingshot squeeze to release, ready and fires off, we can pull back and confirm the daily top as support at 214 level. The next stop is the weekly top at 232. Boeing moves off of news. Boeing just had news that another airline is about to order 50 jets or influx Boeing with $5 billion in capital. What do you think is going to happen? All right, I believe that we're going to get some pretty positive news off of that. Allegiant Air is super whipsy. It could pull back to 4-hour mid at 190. Below 190, it hits 188, and then finally 187, right? Contrarian, it finds support and moves back up towards 195. The stock was trading at 271. From a daily perspective, you see what's going on here. It's fighting its way. If it can get through this daily top at 200, basically, you got to move from 200 to 210, from 210 to 218. I've never traded Allegiant. Allegiant's got earnings coming up. Definitely could potentially get a run into earnings. What are the options contracts look like on Allegiant? Shall we look and see? LGT. All right, so they only have monthlies, right? Which is warning sign number one. The 200 strike has got a pretty bid wide spread. That was 185 puts, about the same. Not a ton of open interest, but you could run the 200 210 vertical for about $2, and that would mean that would be Allegiant breaking previous highs at 197.50, and then I think it's an easy move up to 210. If you want to trade Allegiant, go ahead. You can also trade Boeing, right? All right, this is a strong like bull move. Rally up, pull back, rally up, pull back, rally up. I hate to say it, but there may be a trade in Boeing. Damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the move in Boeing. Looks like, I mean, it's over the weekly mid. Daily top at 215. All right, options contracts for Boeing. All right, this week's 215s are pretty decent. You could play the 220s for if you want to just get like 30 cents, 30, 40 cents out of it, because they're trading at about 60 cents. So let's see what we got. I hate to say it, BA 220 for 30%, or you could go and get the 217.50 for 50%. Okay, all right, that was the move on Boeing. Still, like so I'm saying, we got a lot to get through today. Let me get this back down here. Walmart announced a plan to hire more than 3,000 associates as delivery drivers to expand its in-home delivery service. Look at that move right off of the 4-hour bottom. Next stop, 4-hour mid. So Walmart, any pullback is a dip buy for a move to 143, 143.50 on its way up to 144.75. I did look at this slingshot squeeze, ready and fire. Buy signal is firing off right now. Walmart can move pretty decent. Yeah, I like it. So as far as Walmart is concerned, let's look at the Let's look at this week's 143s. Those are dirt cheap. You may want to go a little further in the money. Look at the 142s. So the Walmart 142s. 42 on any pullback to support. Okay. If you guys want a little closer look at what Walmart's doing. All right, so sold off yesterday. They have some news coming out. They've got this wackadoodle little support. Their line right here, 142.35, moved to 143.50, right? That's that move to the 50-200. We pulled back. Did we close below? Looks like we might have closed below the 200. So this is a tough one. So we pulled back to the 21 EMA. We're at the 200 support. Just had some positive news come out, right? It's trying to get back up. If Walmart can take out, I'm going to say 142. If we can take out this little level from yesterday, right? Yeah, so Walmart above 142.50 for a move to 143.50 and potentially 144. Let's keep an eye on Walmart. It looks pretty decent from what I can see. Maybe not. Wow. It just ripped that news, didn't it? Yeah, so 142.20, 142, what is it? Yeah, 140, let's just say the 5-minute top. Geez, 142.50, 142.35. That's the key level for Walmart. If it can stay above that, then I think it rips up to 145, right? That would be for our bottom to for our mid. So 143.50 for our top at 145. Jeez, Louise. All right, next up, Nikola. If you've been around me, you know I have this little weird infatuation with Nikola. I think it's because it's manufactured close by. It's dropping its $2 billion lawsuit against Tesla in relation to patent violations. Both companies agreed to withdraw all claims and counterclaims against each other. The court joint filing says if this stock breaks 1050, right? If you can get above that psychological level at 1050, I think $11 incoming is pretty reasonable. Yeah, it's got room. So forming a cup and handle, it gives above the 4-hour cloud. Watch for a pullback to that 4-hour cloud for support. So rip through, pull back to 1075 for a move to 1150. Nikola, it is what it is, yo. I mean, it's not like there it is. There's the move. I'd probably either buy commons on this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy some commons on this for a move back up to 12, right? It hit 12 earlier last month, sold off, got below the 200. We do have stack positive moving averages, 821, 34, 50, 200. We're above VWAPs all across the board. We're popping right off of the daily mean, right? The 21 EMA. We're looking to trade 1 to 2 to 3 ATRs above. So I'm targeting the 50 at 1120 and then the 200 SMA at 1222. What I want to see happen is what's starting to happen now. Let's get that pullback pre-market, right? Get a little pre-market pullback, right? To support, 1035, right? Profit taking. If the 250 hold up, right? Then look to go long on this sucker. As far as I bet you the options on this thing are dirt cheap. I bet you they are dirt cheap. Oh my gosh. Second, I'm checking the options chain. Yo, the $10 calls are 50 cents and they're at 1 delta. Any pullback on this? Pretty decent. It's pretty decent IV. Yeah, let's look at Nikola for today, shall we? So we'll go in the money, delta 70 or better. Okay. One of the plays that we could do with that would be buying 2 delta 70 calls and selling 1 delta 40 call. What that does is it's called a zebra trade, and what it does is it's basically the same as owning shares, right? If you don't want to spend $1,000, right, you can get into basically the equivalent of owning 100 shares by doing that zebra trade, right? What it is you buy 2 delta 70 calls and you sell 1 delta 40, and you end up owning the equivalent of 100 shares, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, let's look at Nikola. Cheap little cheap, maybe small account play. Hey, we're slinging that chicken all day. I'm just kidding. Moving on. Yum Brands. That may be a small account play. Don't let me forget to look at Nikola. Yum Brands to launch meatless fried. Yum Brands KFC to launch meatless fried chicken made with Beyond Meat. What the what? The Colonel is rolling over in his grave right now. Meatless fried chicken. Well, I've tried the Beyond stuff. I'm not super thrilled on it, but hey, I mean, my son doesn't really like eating meat proteins, so maybe that'll be good for him. We'll give it a shot. Anyway, Beyond is up 8% off of that news. KFC, Beyond is up 8% off that news. So there it is. Any pullback to the 200 at 65.25, I think we get a rally up to point of control at 68. Above 68, we test 75. Okay. That's a pretty good move. So I'm going to be watching this 200 level right here, which is yesterday's pre-market HOD at 65.20 for support. Breakdown below that, we gap fill down to 61. Yeah, that's going to be a fun play. Let's play Beyond. I got to alert this to somebody. Who do I want to let know about this bad boy? I want to let this person here. Beyond has news about KFC partnership up 8% pre-market. All right, there we go. Moving on, we did in world news. Senator Joe Manchin said he is not holding talks with top Democrats on the Build Back Better Act, a $1.75 trillion investment in social programs and climate policy. Manchin, whose vote Democrats need to pass the bill, said last month he would oppose it. Boom, dropping the mic. U.S. lawmakers held early talks on new 68 billion COVID relief, according to the Washington Post. Talks are on another round of the COVID-focused businesses have been led by Senator Beth Cardin and Roger Wicker. The Washington Post reports citing 4 people familiar with the matter. So they're trying to add another $68 billion to the relief just for businesses. It's not going to affect me and you. If you have a business, then yeah, maybe you can get some help, but it's not going to help us out. Earnings calendar, we're going to start getting back into earnings season. I'm so excited for it. Nothing really that we would trade. LNDC, Rail, SAR, RGP. We do have a little bit of data that could affect the market. In about 15 minutes, the ADP employment change for December with an estimate of 400,000, 945 market composite PMI for December, and services PMI. 6 o'clock bell just hit. Let's go. Checking out the futures. We're going to take our break earlier today than we did yesterday. I'm really trying to streamline that out of this show. Okay. So yesterday in the old Oh, you know what? I forgot to do. My bad. So sorry. We do need to check this out. Energy, industrials, and economic recovery stocks are among early gainers again this morning, despite cases continuing to surge across the U.S. as science and other regions like South Africa suggests a variance unrelated surge around the world may be peaking. That's not good for our manufacturers, our virus manufacturers. In the Asian markets, the Nikkei index rose 30 points to 29. Rose 30 points. Shanghai fell 1%. Hang Seng tumbled 1.64%, and the DAX is up 0.65, while the FTSE rises 0.2%. In a moderately busy day of economic data with our first look at private payrolls to start the year in 15 minutes, with ADP report and a handful of manufacturing data points at 9:45 Eastern. So far to start the year, Dow has managed to post all-time closing high, while all tech has lagged. That's it. Like, I knew that I was super tech heavy, and I just, my bad. My bad. We're going to figure that out. All right, let's check it out. This is the futures part of our show. We're going to go through this really quickly. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back into the plays. So what's going on with our ES, right? Rally. We thought we were going to get a continuation, except for we just chopped. We did make a higher high. We didn't make a higher high yesterday, but we didn't make a lower low. So we're kind of squeezing a little bit. Volume was definitely lower yesterday than it was the day before. We have a nice little chop zone. Let's just call it the chop zone because that's what it is. From 47.65 up to, just move this up here. We're going to move this down here. I actually think that this might be the new zone that we trade within. 47.6450 up to 48.08, right? We're just going to ride this. We're going to melt up with this green line up until we get into like towards the end of the month. Unfortunately, contrarian, if we break this and we start breaking down, right, then we've got some downside targets here. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Maybe if I move that circle out of the way, right, we get a little bit better move. I know it's a very, very tight range, right? But yesterday and the day before was it's weird. It's not like there's a whole lot of volume. We'll just consider that our range, okay? That's the ES. As far as the NQ is concerned, it is not following our path that we had predicted for it, right? Unfortunately. So now we need to readjust, right? We'd looked at an Elliott wave beginning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to look at the downside version of that now. Okay, we've got unless I've got this completely wrong, which I very well may. This is a weird little move that's going on here. It's counter trending, which is weird. Anyway, we're riding this little half deviation line, which is pretty decent, right? This little half deviation line here. If we can maintain that, right, that would be all right. We would eventually squeeze out towards the end of the month. I'm looking for a potential recovery back up to 16,400. Contrarian, if we break this trend line support and we start coming down, we really have to take a look at some of these previous lows that we've hit before and potentially look at I can't really see that. There's a supply zone down here. So it's 16,100, 16,000 downside target, psychological level, and we've hit it before. on. Right, so if we break trendline support on the NQ, we have a 16,000 downside target. Is this the mother of all bounce plays here? It could be. We have room up. We'll see if we rotate out of the Dow back into tech. This is the Dow that we're looking at now, right? That was definitely leading the way, and that's based on that. See that green line that we drew? We're just probably going to follow that green line all the way up. Let me get rid of these fib levels, so clean up this chart a little bit. All right, that's a little bit better move. So nice clean 1, 2, possible 3. Doji into today. Nice little move yesterday. I've never traded any Dow stocks. I don't even know what they are. I should probably look up the Dow. Get familiar with Dow and RTY sectors. Okay. All right, so support at 36,423, resistance at 36,795. Really got to get through this 1, 2. Ooh, maybe a 3-bar play setting up. Should be a fun one. Keep an eye on the Dow. Let's also look at Russell and see what's going on with the Russell. Is the Russell following our path? I would say it is. Pretty dang close. Pretty close to following our path. A little 1, 2. Forming a bull flag here. So it's definitely having an issue being explosive. It's just trading kind of just wants to chill out in this little zone that it's in. Kind of just wants to chill in this zone. Hopefully y'all can see that. Right. It's definitely forming a little bull flag or a little flag. Well, maybe not. What is that Russell doing? Basically, the Russell's in its zone. If it's got to move, it's got to make its mind up if it wants to get out of the little demand zone that it's in right now and move back up to previous supply zones way up here. I'm not gonna say it's not making the 3-wave up yet, but it's definitely consolidating. Right. Yesterday was a doji day. Looking at gold. Gold's just chopping back and forth, right? So is it going to form the head and shoulders or the inverse head and shoulders, right? We're just kind of waiting on gold to figure out what it wants to do. It's got to definitely, this bar right here is it a mother bar? I think that's what they call it, right? Until it gets out of it, it could definitely just chop in this range, right? So gold upside target 1836, downside target 17895. Finally, crude inventories, right? So left shoulder, head, potentially right shoulder. Like if we need to get some downside pressure, but it's got this green line that that's using as a magnet. Could be a 1, 2, 3 move. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. It's got a little supply zone right here that it's targeting. Y'all can see that. Good. So there's a little supply zone that runs 78 to, or excuse me, 79.99 to 78.24. Watch what happens if it rejects off of that and pulls back. Then we get the inverse head and shoulders. If it rips through it, it's going to go up and target a little gap fill. There's another supply zone up here. Whoa. What did I do? Dude. That was weird. Oh, TradingView came out with some new cool stuff that I haven't test driven yet, but you can basically embed tweets into your chart as why you took that trade. Yeah, so upside targets, and then as far as the downside is concerned, this I really think we're going to get a continuation move up on crude inventories for today. ZB, that little snitch, right? The move played out yesterday like we predicted. It's coming back down to this downward support here. It's definitely creating a I think we get a bounce in futures today, right? In bonds, if it breaks this level, it's got downside targets of here and another downside target of here, basically, right? There's the downside targets. If it bounces here, get a quick little flush, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that's the move, right? Or this is what that would look like. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's a potential move. Contrarian, it bounces from here and right, we get one of these on the way back up. So keep an eye on TLT and T-bonds today. And the yen is doing what it's supposed to be doing and falling off the face of the earth. Okay. This is bullish for us, right? Remember in the summer months where it was just kind of choppy. Well, it's continuing its downtrend, and it's got a little bit more to come down to maintain its trend line, or downward trend line trajectory. Okay. Quick break. We'll be right back. And we'll get into the plays. Like I said, if you have plays, get them into me now. I will leave the futures up here. What we're looking to have happen is opening at lows, right? So that we can get a rip through the day, right? Open at the low, rip through the day. Open at the high, fade at the open. Okay. I'll be right back un momento, and we will get this taken care of. All right. I forgot today was Woo Wednesday. And nobody reminded me it was Woo Wednesday. What the what? What in the actual what? All right. So we got some numbers that came out, obviously. Just like what we'd like to see. Bottom row dropping, top row rising. Now, let's check out Forex Factory and see what they have to say about this whole business, shall we? All right, ADP non-farm payroll change. Whoa. Wow, that's huge. That is huge. All right, COVID low, or this year's low, and this year where we're at now. So previously we were at 500,000. We came in at 800,000. What was the estimate? The estimate was 400,000. That is gonna move the market. And I'm not prepared to get a hold of these pre-market rips. The Russell loved that. The Dow's liking it. Yeah, those are good numbers. So what does the non-farm payroll mean, right? Private sector employment increased 800,000 jobs from November to December, according to ADP. That's huge, right? That means the economy should be recovering. That's big news. It's high impact. It's gonna move the market. So let's get ready for it, shall we? All right, let's get into the plays. Obviously, let's do this now. What you see in front of you is the smart money dark pool and block trade algorithm system provided by FlowTrade. It's the same one as this. Okay, this one is a little bit easier to read. What we've got here is, let me find a different chart that's not so marked up. Give me a ticker. Who was first here? Johnny, what do you got? TM? Is that what you want to look at? TM? All right, so what you see in front of you is the ticker TM. It's on the 15-minute normal algorithm. The purple line is the algo. It tracks smart money, dark pool, block trades, large institutional purchases, hedge funds, smart money, big boys. It tracks transactions and creates what's called the flow index. Okay. What we like to see is, the flow index, these big boys buying into stocks, right? That would give us a, that would give us one of these. Nope, that's not the one I want to use. Oh, I haven't even, that's why I have to change it for each chart, right? So this is smart money buying into a stock, right? This is smart money dragging price action up with it. Price action of these white bars. Typically what I'll do is I'm going to try to color code my stuff a little bit better. So give me a couple days on that. And what we would see is, give me a stock that has block trades on it, please. AMD. Okay. We also look at dark pool and regular block trades. So with that being said, I only look for about the past 5 days, and blue lines are dark pool block trades, red lines are regular block trades, and white lines are fun. No, white lines, when I start drawing them again, white lines will be where price action and the algo, or where regular and dark pool trades have printed on top of each other, and I can't draw two different lines. Those are major inflection points. Draw them on your chart, see what happens when price interacts with them. Okay, so typically what we look for is we look for bullish divergence, meaning price action is trying to find support, and the algo is buying into it. So that will drag price action up with it. Now, what's happened with AMD is it was just trading, the algo was, price action was trading with the algo up until yesterday. AMD pulled back to a key level of support, and the algo bounced. Now, does it reverse and continue to pull price action down, or does it pull up and pull price action up with it, right? the algo is not centered to any y-axis, so I can move this around, right? I can move this chart around, and the algo is going to move, right? See how it's trading right with price action? If I move it all the way over here, it's just trading with it, right? So what we want to do is we want to find that divergence. And if we had played the downside divergence on AMD, right, where it had diverged, began diverging here, right? It had begun diverging there, right? We knew that they were selling out. We would have waited for a reversal point here and bought puts, and boom, that divergence traded out. See how it diverged at this point here? That's where the divergence occurred. Selling, net selling, prices rising. Well, we know it's going to come back down and meet that divergence. We could have put in a put order at 143 from this high and made this move to the downside. Now, what's happening is price is just trading with the algorithm, so there's no divergence for us to really speak of. Okay, so let's get into some plays, shall we? I want to look at, I'm going to start at the top of the list and work my way down. Ed came in with FSLR. FSLR, I got you. What's next? NVIDIA. Johnny, I didn't know what you're looking at, so let me know. You want AMD? All right, I'll do AMD for you. AMD. NVIDIA. Morning watch list. Louds, I think what you mentioned is all great. I mean, I don't want to look at 8 tickers, but let's check out Moderna. All right, let's get into it, shall we? So FSLR, we had bullish divergence and they just sold off yesterday. So now the algo is trading with price, right? The algo is pointed down. Right, I think we get some continued pullback. We do have to be aware of this trend line that's happening right now, right? So the algo is trading with price. It's not like it's going to pull it one way or the other, but this is a nice little cup and handle that's forming on FSLR. I would be interested if it can get above that level there. We would need the algorithm to maintain its trend line. So there's a trend line there for the algo, right? Rally, pullback, support, chop, 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 up and down. Now it's really hard to see it on that chart, but if we pull it up over here on the old one, right? Very exaggerated move, right? And we did get that divergence playing out. So price had diverged pretty much at this level here. Right, divergence played out, and then there's massive sell-off. This is probably, I mean, this is sector driven right here. The whole sector fell. It did come right back into support. Based on what happens with this little U shape here. All right, this is just a bad pullback. Little bounce recovery could be forming an inverse head and shoulders, right? So that would be left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we rip. Again, with our general rule of thumb, we don't want to trade below the directional 200 SMA on, it's really the 4 hour, but the 50, you know what? My bad. We got to look at the 30 minute. We're going to play weeklies. We have to start looking at the 30 minute. So, I mean, it's got some work to do. I would put an alert here at, let's just call it 88, shall we? So FSLR above 88 gets a move back up to 90, 91. If it rejects this level here, then we have to look at the move back down to 85, right? Oh, what? Did I just find shortcut keys? I did. MACD crossover rejected. See how it rejected right here, that 200 SMA. Rally rejected. It's currently, like, it rallied to the 21. Does it have a larger move to the downside? Super interested in what happens with this stock today. There's a demand zone that runs from here to here, right? Do we bounce off of that demand zone, or do we break through it? The algorithm is not really going to help us out because the algo is pointed down to support, trying to get back up above, right? Trying to get back up above this level here. From a block trade perspective, right? We have this regular block that came in at 87.95. It's a dark pull level, I mean. Dark pull 87.95. We also have a dark pull up here at 91. That leads me to believe we can get above 88. We have a move back up to 93. If we reject 88, then we have to look at a downside move. I mean, it's... We knew it was a possibility. I mean, it's setting up for a move. It really is, but it's just having struggles, right? It's on the struggle bus. It's on the 200 SMA struggle bus. So the safe move would be slap an alert right there at 91.36. If we get a close above 91.36, that would be a cup and handle, and that gives us a move back up to 102. $3 ATR. The algo is not going to help us out with this one. Look at price action, right? Watch these key levels, 88, right? 30-minute 200 SMA at 88 for a move up. That's your upside move. Contrarian, if it rejects that level there, then we get, right, there's your upside. If it rejects it and does one of these, there's your two ways, okay? All right, moving on. AMD, kind of went over it. It's just trading with price action. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen when the algo is this support? Do we get a true bounce there? We have I mean, I like AMD. I just don't trust the direction it's heading. It's got overhead resistance. It's got a number of block trades that it's going to have issues with. Right? It's coming back up into regular block trade resistance, 145, 146, 150. That was a nasty move yesterday. So negatively stacked moving averages, 1, 2, 3, move, downside move, possibly. It pulled right back to the 21. Got the 21 at 143. 19, which is right where it's at right now. So we have the 200 SMA, the 50 SMA, and 21 EMA on the daily right there where it's at. So does this level hold a support? If so, we can look at targeting 147, excuse me, 144, 145. Ugh. It's just really heavy, but this is a key level of support that we're at now. If we break that level, we have to look at the downside move to $141, $135, $130. We are trapped, basically. So this old demand zone is now a supply zone, right? We have a new demand zone. Right? We have a new demand zone there. We have a longer term demand zone. There. That's a big one, right? Yeah, that was a nasty move. 4-hour top to 4-hour bottom in a day is rough. Now, we're trying to get off the 4-hour bottom. We got the weekly cloud that we're going to run into at 145. So target 4-hour mid above 145, above 146, we get a pretty easy move back up to 150. If we reject 146, then we pull back to 140. If we break down below yesterday's lows at 141, then I think we can continue to the downside. Looking pretty heavy, to be honest. We're riding that 50-day, right? This is the 4-hour 50 that we're using as support right now. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's so tough. Double red. Right, this is a pretty nasty move here. Pretty nasty move. What do we got going on here? We're definitely forming kind of a wedge. Forming a wedge here. Whoa, where'd it go? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I'm back. Yeah, AMD is gonna be interesting. Like I said, it's got to get out of this range that it's in. But I'm not mad at this move. I think it's a buy opportunity. All All right, AMD, we'll look and see what we can get off of that. NVIDIA, all divergences played out. The algo is trading with price action. And if the algo curls back around, definitely be interested to see what happens. NVIDIA did come up to previous resistance yesterday at, what was that, 293.50. So if NVIDIA can rip past 293, I've got some upside targets of the zone right in there to 299. Let's look at the 300s. Bitty bitty and bitty bitty. All right, right back to the 2150. This is a key level of support, right? It whipped down and it closed right at it. Earnings coming up. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. NVIDIA is just in a tough position right now for me to look at. NVIDIA. See what's happening in pre-market. Very similar move to AMD. It closed at VWAP, but it's got the 5200 right here. So 297 is the 50-day 21 EMA, 50-day SMA, 21-day EMA. Yeah, right. And there is a demand zone down at 280. So if VWAP cracks, we have a downside target at 280. Okay. We have a supply zone. Got a supply zone right there. So let's keep an eye on NVIDIA. So 280 puts, 300 calls on NVIDIA. 280 put, 300 call. Okay. That might be the predicted trade of the week. Oh, there he is. What's up, brother? We have FOMC today? I did not see that. Are you sure? Yep, right there. Yep, we do have. I didn't see that. Thanks for bringing it up. We have FOMC that will move the market, but we do have, I mean, those non-farm payrolls should definitely help rip, okay? All right. What else are we looking at here? All right, Moderna. So this is a very interesting position on Moderna in that the algo actually made a higher low, right? But it is definitely range bound. So we got to get out of, like, this is long-term level for Moderna, right? So do we chop back and forth, and does it just continue to chop price action with it? Very well could. We are trying to recover from that massive pullback, right? The algo is just trading with price action, like I mentioned. So as far as Moderna goes, right down to, on the daily, right down to that demand zone, okay? Do we start retracing back to the 21 and POC at 247? At 248, 249, that brings us up here. We have a 30-minute 200 SMA, 243. If we do rip, look for resistance at that level. I mean, we are just at a demand zone. Little potential. Inverse head and shoulders. Or just a massive... Oh, it's not a bear flag. It's a cluster, right? To be honest with you. Waiting for the slingshot squeeze to happen. MACD to curl over. We are just right there at this demand zone. Do we just sit here and pick up shares? We'll have to see what happens. If you want to go long, look for a break above yesterday's pre-market high. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. 235, 240, 243 are upside targets. We have some trendline support that's really just helping us out here. Right? So if that trend line breaks, we feed all the way back down to... Yeah, we feed all the way back down to the bottom of this demand zone, which would be -2 ATR. If we bounce, we have the 200, the SMA at 243 is the upside resistance. Okay, now let's get into the rest of the plays. All right. All right, what's up, watchlist? You want to look at QQQ? Smart play. Jessica Baker, not sure what that means, but let's check out Tesla. Cool. And Walmart. Remember we had news on Walmart? So all divergences have played out. The algo is just trading with price action. The algo is currently pointed down. Right? See how the algo is pointed down? And Walmart did have a pretty hefty pullback. Walmart's got support right here. If we crack this level of support, right? If we break that level of support, we've got a zone down here that we would trade to. Right? There's a zone right here that we would trade to. So that's the downside move on Walmart. Contrarian, we have some longer term trendline support. Come on. Come on, sucker. Peyton, wake up your brother, please. So Walmart's in a position where it's got to make a decision. If it breaks support, it's got a downside target at 140, 141. If this holds, it's got to really get back up to 143. What's Walmart doing? Pre-market. All right, so Walmart did have news. Remember, the news was that it's going to start hiring like 3,000 people. Where'd it go? Yeah, Walmart's announcing to hire more than 3,000 associate delivery drivers this year to expand its in-home delivery. It held the 200. It's got the 50 at 143. It's a pretty big downside move. So like I said, if Walmart breaks 142.27, right, which is the 200 SMA on the 50 or the 30-minute chart, it's kind of in a little demand zone. It's an older demand zone there. It's an old school one, right? We bounced down right down there and touched it. As far as supply zone goes, there's a supply zone right here. Right. just, I mean, it's going to be a choppy way back up to 145. Sort of chops a lot, right? Obviously 145 is the upside target. Taking profit at 143, which is the 200 or the 50-day. So that's the upside move. Downside, if it breaks down below yesterday's lows, we've got a move down to 140, 140.87. Below that, it's a pretty big drop to 1. Nasty move. All right, so we're looking for that 200 to hold on Walmart. All right. What else we got? QQQ. All right, so the QQQ looks actually, the algo looks pretty decent. It looks like it may have found some support here. Nice little bounce yesterday. It is trading with price action, right? It's coming up to some key resistance at this level here. If the algo can break above this resistance, it will pull the Qs back up with it. And as long as that trend line holds, we do have a long-term, what is that, 398.27 is overhead resistance. So that's above that, then it starts to get a little easier to move. If it rejects off of that, then we look to pull back. All right. Sorry about that. So the Qs, if the algo breaks its overhead resistance, it may pull price action up with it. As far as block trades are concerned, obviously the Qs are going to have 1 billion of them. So let's just look. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, those are 3 days, like right off of regular block trade support, moving back up to, we got a white line at 398, 399. We got a white line at 400, upside targets at 402. As far as like, that's a pretty dead on downside trend line support, right? Let's see here. On the other side of that, right, we are right at point of control. We touched the 21 yesterday, rallied, pull back down to the 2150, so that we held that level, right, which is also long-term fib, right, from this move here. 1, 2, 3, failed Wu-Tang reversal, held the 200, or excuse me, held the 50, 21 EMA. What I'd hate to see happen is this. I'd hate to see that falling channel, right? So So, well, the old algo is showing that it's dragging price action up with it. The new one is showing that it's dragging price action up with it, right? It's a little easier to see these block trades, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just mark these up real quick. And I'm just going to use yellow just because it's the quick, easy color, right? Right off of regular block trade support, right? We have a target here. This is a white line level right here. This 399.20, right? So if we can get over these dark pool levels and these previous lows, so 397.41, 397.92, we go up and retest 399, above 399, right? Basically above 400, well, above 399.20, we get those upside moves. If we reject that, we have to look at the pullback that could occur. As far as right, so downside target is 394. If we break 394, we can come all the way back down to 392.50, and then even further 389. Oh, well, we'll just call it 390. Right, so if we reject this level, we're going to follow this downward trend line on the way down to 391. Okay. Tesseract, what's going on with Tesla? So Tesla is, what's going on with the algo here? All right. Pull back. Well, the algo was making higher highs and higher lows, but it ran into some resistance. Doesn't surprise me. Pull back. So let's see. So we have a price action trend line, right? That support holds, and if the algo can start making higher highs and higher lows again, right? Right, it's got to get out of this little channel and get back up to test. Okay, so 1100, the algo bounces here, comes up, breaks its overhead channel. It can continue to pull price action up. If it gets up here and rejects and makes a lower low, like if it takes out that low, then I think we can see a pretty significant pullback in Tesla to gap fill. There's a gap right there that needs to be filled. Downside gap, okay? If it breaks this level, it'll continue to pull price action up with it. As far as Tesla is concerned on the charts, bounce off at 1075. I don't know, this is pretty strong, right? 1, 2. Elliott wave theory has this as the move. And that's why I was looking at this the other day. I'm like, wow, that's a big move. Something like that. Because Tesla did make a higher high yesterday. I've got a 1618 extension at 1222, and that's off of this move here, right? So it's probably not valid anymore. Let's look at a different fib level, shall we? All right, the reason I chose that level is because this is a previous high, right? It just smacked right there. Like we could trend line that. At 1209.75 is pretty significant resistance for Tesla. It is the top of a supply zone, right? Very, very top. Wow, that was a massive move. Jeez. How did I miss that? All right, so Tesla 200 SMA is right at previous highs. So 1113.28 as your support. If it breaks that, it gap fills to the downside to 1054. If it holds, then we test 1200 again. So Tesla should be an interesting one for today. All right. All right, so this is what I see with Tesla. We have a 10, 15, and 20-minute low compression squeeze, a two-day low compression squeeze, and a 3-day squeeze, right? We've got green 10x bars on the upper end, lower end, and mid. We've got red at the 30, 60, and 2-hour point, right? Tesla is currently trading at the top of its ATR, right, which is $61 daily ATR. Okay, it gapped up, pulled back to my stuff is laggy AF right now. Right, at 117 or 1117. That's not even a pullback to the 21. The 21 pullback would be 1085, and the 50 is at 252. Right, so we do have stack positive moving averages, 821, 34, 5200. A little oversold on the Iridium Fire. Histograms are dark blue, but decreasing. Pretty, very bullish momentum happening. Okay, it has room to 1210, right? Right, 1210. Oh, my bad. Okay. All right, so Tesla, like, does it rip to 1200? I'm gonna look for some puts on that, right? I'm gonna look at maybe the 1110 puts, just to see if it rejects. Like if it rips up here and rejects, then yeah. All right. One more look at Tesla. Right, trendline support, 200 SMA on the 30-minute. If any of that, if this starts to break down, I'm going to look to target 1050. Okay, is predicted trade still in here? I don't know if he's still here, but I've got. All right, so here's the deal. I gotta go because I'm determined I need a little extra time to get ready, right? Real quick on Google, the Google algo is making higher highs and higher lows, right? So what we want to see happen with the Google algorithm is this. If it can break out of its little wedge, right? If the algo breaks out of that wedge, I think we get a nice rippy move on Google, okay? That would mean that the Qs are ripping. Google tweezer bottomed here. Oh, okay. So I'm in the Google 3000s. We have a tweezer bottom here, right at point of control, right at the 50 SMA. The Google 3000s are beast numbers on that. Basically, shoot. All right, so here's the deal. Here's your predictive trades for the day, right? Those Google 3000s, they haven't really changed, right? That's the Google 3000 call. I also want to look at the Tesla. All right, so these trades are provided by Predictive Trades. There's your Google calls, right? And if you want to look at the downside of Tesla, my bad. I want to look at the, what did I say for Tesla? 120, 1055. All right, so there's your predicted trades. The Tesla 1100 puts anywhere from 278 to 484, and then the Tesla 1000 puts anywhere from 71 cents to $1.88. If that 1000 put, I don't think we'll hit it, but the 1050 put would be pretty decent. What we try to do is we want to take it from, $1.88 to 219, 337, and 556. To the upside, Tesla, if we can get in the $1,300 calls, which would be, basically ripping out of this supply zone, anywhere from 70 cents to 85 cents, looking to those to triple. The 1200 calls, which is the top of that supply zone, 284 to 337. What we would need is a pretty big pullback on Tesla for those 1200s to hit beast zone, and we'd also need Tesla to bounce off of this 200 SMA. Right, so we need a flush down to the 200. I think that would bring the 1200s into B zone, finding support, not filling the downside gap. So Tesla should be an interesting trade today. I wanted to show you Tesla pre-market, right? It's starting to get a little dark blue, starting to get some greens turning over, right? We're just at this really interesting position on Tesla right now. This is the pre-market. Extended hours, which I don't know why it keeps reverting back to it, but these histograms and these squeezes are off based on that pre-market data. I'm gonna have to go fix that at another time. Really quick, last time, take your screenshots if you need it. I'm gonna show you the sponsored predictive trades, right? They sponsored it, and let me get this up here so you can see everything. All right, there's your predicted trades. If you want to take advantage of the beast numbers, they pay. It's just an ATM, right? Use it as an ATM. That's all it is. So with that being said, screenshot this. I'll see y'all in the chat. Have a great day. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications on your way out the door, and let's get this money, fellas. Oh, and ladies.